Hi everybody, I am Jim with Four Wheeling Arkansas, and I am here with my buddy Cam Davis. Met him on Baker's Overland members camp here a while back. He rode with me. We did a video on that. I did a video on it and used a bunch of your footage. You did a video on it and used some of my footage. And his YouTube is Cam on the KLR, C-A-M, Cam on the KLR. You need to go check that out. Super cool dude. Very young dude. That's what's cool about it, is very young guy, and but he's still out here doing this with us. And we planned this, I don't know,
end of December
yeah, for this weekend. Yeah. And as you can see, the snowpocalypse happened last weekend.
It to be like
and
this.
So we had a couple other people that we know that were going to be here. You remember Stephen Moore with More Adventures that I did this with a while back. He was going to be here, but he works for the highway department. And so he's busy cleaning roads so that we can do this. But we are in the Ouchita National Forest, and we're just camping and hanging out. Got my grandson with me. He's back here in the back sitting over there eating chips and watching the fire. And we just come down to hang out and have a good time, and just glad to be here. So Thank you for coming. I hear that you were here in the Ouchitas last weekend. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I worked all weekend doing freeze watch. It's like got down to 14, 15 degrees, and I left Monday about 10 o'clock and come up here. And as soon as I got to 5:30 coming from El Dorado, it was plowed, clear as day. Yep, let's roll. So we're rolling about 65 down the interstate, and all the roads were clear up until we got to Highway 10. And then we come around by Lake Sylvia, and even the pavement part of Lake Sylvia's road was plowed too.
Yeah.
Once we got to the gravel, 6 inches of snow. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was rough.
I'll bet it was.
I probably drove 10 or 12 miles down and stayed on a tree line close to Crystal Mountain.
Okay. Love that. I've done some stuff up there. Love Crystal Mountain.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful overlooking the Lake Winona there.
Absolutely.
Love that spot. This is actually a spot that we're at that Cam knew of. And I had actually, on the way, when we met at Williams Junction store and came down here, and I got to thinking about it. As I was thinking about it, I thought, I've been in this spot before. I've never camped here, but I've been here.
Right.
And me and Jason were coming through on the road, and we were coming from Lake Sylvia, and he parked out there on the road, and I said, give me a minute, let me just run down here and check this spot, see what's back here, because I didn't know whether there's a trail or what. Right. We come back down in here and found this little spot, but it's right on the river here. It's really nice. It's just the three of us here, and so tell me a little bit. I know you work. My company that I work for, we haul out of El Dorado Chemical. We haul ammonium nitrate out of there all the time. But you don't work there, but you work for a chemical plant or something there in El Dorado, right?
Yeah. I work at Great Lakes in El Dorado, do bromine kind of chemicals. They make all sorts of stuff and ship it all over the world. It's a global company, and they do a lot of business overseas.
How long have you been there?
Been there a year and 2 months.
Okay. Now, it seems to me, didn't you say that you're like a second or third generation? I'm going back from when we were at Baker's. Didn't you say that your dad or something and your grandpa even maybe that kind of work in that similar space? So you've been around that your whole life, very comfortable with all that stuff down there. I didn't realize I knew El Dorado Chemical was there, and that's a huge plant. But I had no idea there were so many other chemical plants. Yeah, I had no idea.
We got Lion Oil Refinery is a big one.
Yeah.
Lanxess has 3 plants. El Dorado Chemical. There's a couple smaller ones. You've got Lycus, which I don't know exactly what that's. I think it's kind of like lime slurry stuff. But in my opinion, I think that El Dorado is definitely the industrial central of Arkansas.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff down there.
Yeah.
So tell me from there, southern, a lot of flat land down there and all that. How did you end up now? And we'll do a little walk around of the morning. We'll kind of show what you're driving. You have and I don't know what year it is.
2018.
2018, and it's a 4-door Dodge 1500 Ram 4-wheel drive. And you've got it set up with a bed rack and a rooftop tent and all the stuff. What got you into this? Because there's not a lot of that down in that area. I'm sure it's probably like farmland where my wife's from, there's a lot of mud riding and stuff like that down there. I mean, just mudding and things like that,
Right.
because there is also quite a bit of farming and stuff down in
Right.
that area. So I would think so. How did you get into this kind of the overlanding thing?
Well, a buddy of mine, probably 4 years ago,
Mhm.
he met a guy that was doing it, so they started doing it. Now I started doing it, and it's just grown from camping in a hammock and a ground tent to a bed rack and a rooftop tent and all the accessories you could ever ask for.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I slept last year in a hammock when it was 14 degrees with snow in the ground. Yep. Over there by Fork Mountain. Sure did.
That is tough
2
right there.
nights.
Oh,
2
that's
nights.
tough.
And it was not that bad until about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd wake up and I done got hot and kicked the sleeping bag off.
Yeah, and then got cold.
Ooh.
And then got cold.
Go sit in the truck.
Yeah.
Exactly what I did at Baker's trip.
Yeah.
Started that thing up 6 o'clock in the
Oh
morning.
yeah, I forgot about that. That was crazy.
That was so
there,
bad.
tell us about that, man. Because
so I had a CVT tent, and
it was a clamshell, wasn't
yeah,
it?
It was a clamshell, and I knew it leaked, which it had never been that big of a deal until it was. It had been a monsoon for us. Those, a week before that,
and it was cold too. I mean, it wasn't freezing cold. We were running diesel heaters and stuff. Yeah,
but we weren't acclimated to the cold yet. Yeah.
Yeah, that first night.
Yeah. And I popped that tent open. I'm like, oh my gosh, the mattress is soaking wet. Like you could squeeze it and water would run out. Oh my God. So I drug it out and like, maybe I'll just lay my sleeping. I had 2 sleeping bags, so maybe I'll just lay one down and sleep in the other.
Yeah.
It was miserable.
I'll bet it was.
It was miserable.
I'll bet it was.
I slept maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
The whole night.
I remember getting up, and I remember because I was sitting like literally parked right next to you, and I heard your truck fire up, and I'm like, ooh, that don't sound good.
Yep.
So that was kind of that's probably one of the, and like, is your truck lifted? Do you have a lift or anything on it? That's pretty well stocked though, isn't it?
The Rebels come with air ride.
Uh-huh.
And I went on a trip to Colorado last summer. My air ride went out.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I drove all the way back from Colorado Springs to my house is like 1,020 miles.
Yeah.
On the bump stops.
Oh wow.
And I had 35-inch mud tires, and they were rubbing the fenders every time I did it. It was terrible.
I'll bet.
But after that, I bought the Bilstein 6112 air ride delete kit for it, and I think it's maybe a 2-inch level.
Okay.
I think that's all it is.
Yeah. And you're on what, 33s?
33s, yeah.
33s, yeah.
Yep.
Not a ton done suspension wise,
right.
Because that was part of the reason why we kind of got hooked up there at Baker's, because that was not a real full size vehicle friendly trail.
No.
We did have a full size Tacoma on with us, and it got some damage during it.
I don't know how he made it through that.
I don't either. I know he had like a propane. He had propane on the side of his rack and all that was his bracket and everything was all jacked up. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's one. I mean, it was awesome. He did the whole thing, but man, it paid.
He didn't turn around,
and he had a pretty good lift too.
Yeah, and I think that's what helped him out.
Yeah,
because my truck,
man, it was still tight though. Right. Man, it was tight.
Where it was that big dip through the creek, I would have never made it through that. I would have dragged my back in.
Yeah, for sure. But now, so we've been talking about this too. You are a trail guide for Onyx Off-Road, because we were just talking about that. I just applied to be a trail guide, so we had talked about that a little bit. Tell me a little bit about that and how you kind of got started doing that. How did all that come about?
Well, they send you the ad on your app.
On your app,
time it pops up. I don't know what that is, so I just applied for it, and I got to reading a little more about it. It said you get your free elite every year and so much off for their merchandise and stuff like that. So I mean, I've got every single hat they've got on their shop, because you get them for like $5.
That's an Onyx hat you're wearing, isn't it? Yeah.
This is an Onyx hunt hat.
Yeah. Okay.
But basically, as a trail guide, the green and blue trails that you see on Onyx, those are mapped by individual trail guides. They go out there and hit go and track, take some pictures, write a good description, and then submit it. And once Onyx approves it, it'll be posted to the app.
On their app, Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
I actually just applied for that the other day. It started popping up and everything, you know, and I
Yeah.
answered some questions, and I kind of knew you were doing that, and I've been actually watching because you did some here just a few weeks
Hmm.
ago or
I
whatever
did.
that you know
Yep.
you did a video on
Right.
that some of the cool stuff, and so you've done a lot here in the Washtas, a lot of
Yes.
the mapping that's on in the Washtas. You've done
Right.
a lot of that.
Yeah. See, a lot of them. I've been in contact with Onyx recently because there's a lot of trails in the Ouachitas that were mapped whenever Onyx Trail Guide first come about, and there's trails that'll go from here, turn left down this road, go up here, and then pull up in this campsite,
Yeah,
and then they start another one, and go here, and now they're at Fort Mountain or Pinnacle Mountain,
yeah. There's kind of no
and
rhyme or reason to it.
right, and I'm like OCD about it. It drives me insane. So I got in contact with them. I was like, I need to do something about that, and they said, send me the trails that you're wanting to remap, and we'll see what we think about it. And they emailed me back and gave me the green light, so that's what I did.
Yeah.
And
Because originally, when I first started this 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I was using, of course, Gaia. You know, all my buddies were using
right,
Gaia, and I still use Gaia. I still like Gaia,
right,
but the only downside with Gaia, it has a lot more information, but there was nothing there, you know,
right.
pre-run. But what I did like is if you with a subscription to Trails Off Road, you know, you could actually share that with
Mm-hmm.
Gaia and upload it to your Gaia.
Okay,
So that worked well. So that's
right.
kind of where I started and started doing that, and that's where I really started exploring the Washtas and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of those trails that are
Yeah,
here that were on Trails Off Road. And then here recently, I guess this last year, probably here, well, I probably got it back June, July. I got Onyx. I've had Onyx Hunt for
mm-hmm.
10 years.
Yeah,
My father-in-law and I use that all
right,
the time, and I finally dropped it because I went to Onyx Off Road,
mm-hmm.
and it basically does a lot of the same
Right.
stuff. So I ended up going with OnX, and then in August, me and some of my buddies we went to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan
Yeah, I remember you telling me
for a
about that. Yeah.
9 day trip going
Mm-hmm.
up there and back. And so on my way up there, I went ahead and I just had the standard, the lowest
Mm-hmm.
membership, but I bumped it up to elite then, and I actually like OnX. I want to say better. There's more pre routes, and
Right.
Guy is starting to do some of that, but they still don't have much
Yeah, I
on there.
saw they put the Ozark Overland Adventure Trail on the Ozarks,
Yeah,
and
but there's nothing here in the
right,
Washtas, and
right,
you know, and there's a lot of cool. I've been on a lot of trails here, and there's a
right.
lot of cool stuff, but the Onyx has more of that, and you know, I mean, I'm not necessarily. I mean, I like to, you know, just go
Mm-hmm.
explore and just go see where stuff goes.
Right,
But it's kind of nice to know too that at least somebody's
right.
been through there, you
Onyx
know.
gives you an idea of where you're going.
Exactly. And so I do like that. Um, but anyway, so tell me a little bit about your channel because it's Cam on the KLR,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you have an adventure bike,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some of your videos on that about Colorado, actually, that we were
Right.
talking about.
Yep.
So is that kind of when your channel all started and all that?
Well, I created the Instagram name Camel the KLR probably 3 years ago. I have a '01 KLR
Mm-hmm.
and instantly fell in love with it. Man, I've rode Harleys, street bikes, everything else, but I've never had more fun than I've had on that KLR
Yeah.
until I bought my DRZ. That is a rowdy little bike.
Yeah.
It's fun. I have a lot of fun on it,
Yeah.
and that's the one that I took to Colorado.
Okay.
And it's probably part of the reason why my air ride went
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. That's a pretty
You
big
put that
bike.
500-pound bike on the back plus a
Yeah.
200-pound rooftop tent and a 200-pound deck system,
Yeah.
you can overload it pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I drove out there. It took me, I don't know, 21 hours to get there,
Mm-hmm.
and slept at the Colorado state line. I pulled up in there at 5 o'clock in the morning on the dot. Slept until about 10 o'clock, and then made my way to Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
Unloaded my bike, made about a 20-30 mile loop, come back, started drinking, and I don't know, probably 10 or 11 o'clock, I climbed in the tent. Woke up the next morning, flat.
Oh no.
Like, oh my gosh.
That's actually where he was born, in Colorado Springs.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter was in the Army out there.
Really?
And yeah.
Nice.
Yep. That's where she was stationed when he was born a couple years ago. What are you now? 6, 7, Brantley? 10? Maybe you're 10, huh? Just turned 10 last month, huh? Yeah. It ain't February yet. Anyway, nope, super cool. So, yeah, I know you was talking about the tent that you got washed out in at Bakersfield. This is, you got a new tent on it since the
Yeah.
last time I seen you. Tell me a little bit about it. 'Cause
Man,
I've never actually heard of that brand.
I hadn't either. I found it on Facebook Marketplace in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
And I said, hey, man, you give me a couple days, I'll be up there to get it.
Yeah.
And he said, all right. So I got off, I think it was on like a Thursday. It would have been a Friday morning. I worked off, slept until about 10 o'clock that morning, got up, drove to Memphis, picked it up, and just slid it in the bed of my truck.
Yeah.
And the guy that had it on top of a Gladiator.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it looked a lot bigger on that Gladiator than it did on my truck.
Oh, yeah. Well, your truck's a lot bigger than Gladiator is, though. Yeah.
But I like it.
Yeah, it looks good. I
took
like
out
the way you have the half rack, so everything's down below the
right.
cab, so if you are traveling with it, you don't have all that wind and all that stuff.
Doesn't kill my gas mileage too bad.
Well, and yeah, because that's a Hemi, isn't it?
It don't get very good gas mileage.
No,
anyway.
to start with, yeah. No, I'm sure it doesn't. So any plan to lift it or go any bigger? Or
I don't think so. I'm looking at building something small. I want to have a dedicated trail rig, kind of like you do, where I can just leave it at the house, parked, loaded up, ready to go.
Yeah.
That way, whenever I want to go out, I just jump in it and roll.
Yeah. That is kind of nice. We're really blessed to be in that position.
Yeah.
Of course, it's taken me years and years and years to where I could get there.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it really is. That's a nice problem to have for sure.
So I would like to get me like a Tacoma or something small, some kind of small truck, and put the tent on that.
Yeah.
And trade that truck in on some kind of new daily driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's getting up there. It's got 177,000 miles on it.
Wow, that's got more miles on it than my Jeep.
Yeah,
it's a 13.
Yeah.
But mine sits a lot too now,
Right.
I say that. I've had it 3 years and I put right at 30,000 miles on it, I think, in 3 years.
That's about what I put on mine.
I drove it a lot when I first bought it, while I was building it and all that. And now it's kind of, I did
uncomfortable to drive.
Well, it's not really that so much. I mean, I did when I went to Michigan, I did a rear seat delete,
right?
So I could put all my gear in there. Right. Problem that I had is all my stuff was at the back axle back, and so it was sagging. Since the last time you seen it, I put upper and lower control arms in it, and I changed the rear springs, so now it's setting up level. And there's so much weight in the very back that it just squats it. And so the rear seat delete, I can move a lot of that stuff up mid cabin to where it's, it rides and drives a whole lot better. And there's no room in the back of that thing.
Right.
If I knew then what I know now, that would have been a Gladiator, 100%. I would not have bought the Wrangler. I love the Wrangler for wheeling aspect of it. But the Gladiator, you just so much more bed space, and there's so many more options. The Clayton, the Overland lift, and stuff like that handles the extra weight, because that thing's heavy. That thing's 6,000 pounds. Decked out,
just
loaded
about
out.
As heavy as my truck is.
I mean, it's crazy how heavy, but loaded out. I run it on my way to Baker's when we met over there. I was in the process of trying to figure out which rear springs I was going to go with. And with the control arms and all that stuff in order to kind of level it back up. So I run it across the cat scale, loaded out for that trip. And I was like 5,900. Wow. I was like 5,900 pounds.
Wow.
Gross. That's loaded out with groceries, water. That's all of it, know. But that's still, that's a lot of weight for a Wrangler,
Yeah.
And that's when I started talking about it, when I started looking at, spring kits and all that, that's what everybody said, man, that thing's heavy. Well, yeah, it is. But, if I'm going to go off road and I'm going to stay like here for a week or 10 days or however long I want to go, I mean, I do need to go through. There are things in there that I probably don't need to have in there, but I'd
what I'm
say
getting to now.
9 out of 10 things that are in there
Right.
are things that I use, you know.
Right.
I mean, it would be hard. I know I could find some stuff, but to go through my pack out and say in the last year or the last 2 years, I haven't used this aside from tools, and I'm not going to go without tools,
Nope.
you know. I mean, they're
Yep.
minimum, bare
Right.
minimum, but I carry a 1/2 inch drive impact.
Right.
I'm sorry, I am old. And I'm
None of
just
that
telling you,
four-way stuff.
no, I ain't doing that. I know it's ladder and all that. It's cordless impact. I'm carrying it. I don't
Man,
care.
I've got a full-size floor jack in the back of my truck.
Yeah, I don't
One of
care.
those
I got a bottle
aluminum.
jack, but yeah, I have one of them at home. I don't carry it because it takes up. If I had a pickup, I might. But
Right.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
there's just some things I'm not going to do without. But and tools is one of them. And like wiring stuff, I have a little pack out box that has
Mhm.
nothing but wires, connectors, and a bunch of that kind of stuff, you know. And but when I was at Baker's, I had to rewire my diesel heater. One
Really?
of the wires came apart and it was too short and all that.
Yeah.
I spent an hour over there trying to get my diesel heater working, you know, because I had
Right.
to. So I've used that stuff too. Not all of it, but a
Right.
lot of it, you know. So but anyway. All right, man. Was there anything you want? I mean, plug your socials and all that good stuff, and where can they find you? And
It's Cam on the KLR on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Not Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. There you go.
no Facebook.
Well, I've got Facebook. It's Cam Davis on Facebook.
Okay, very cool. Well, Cam, thank you for inviting us out, and we will thank you all for joining. And check out YouTube and his socials and all that. Very cool, dude. And we are gonna probably put something out in the next week or so,
Yeah.
2 weeks
Man, I've
on
got
this little.
I've got 2 videos backed up.
You know, I had one that I just went out because I didn't have anything. I've been putting out about one a week.
Yeah.
And I almost think that's too much for me.
Yeah.
Because now, but like this is the way I've been doing it. Like this deal, when we went to Baker's deal. So when we went to Baker's deal, we did all the filming, and then I did that sit down with Stephen Moore.
Right.
Well, the next week I put out that coffee break deal like
Right.
we're doing now,
Right.
and then the following week the trip video came out. But I don't go on trips twice a month, you know. So
Right.
what
I'm
I
the same
try
way.
to do is this: whenever I go out, whoever I'm with, I try to con them into sitting down and doing one of these,
Right.
because there's no editing to this. What you
Right.
see is what you get. I mean, I'm literally just going to upload it. I'm going to put a thumb on it, you know, and that's pretty much it. However it happens, it happens.
Right.
And then that gives me a couple of weeks to work on, on the video, you know. But I still think that, I don't know, I need to spend a little more time with it.
Yeah, I don't have enough time to work on videos.
I don't either.
Before, on my way up here, I stopped at Walmart and bought a new SD card because the 128 gigabyte one that I took out Monday is full.
Yeah.
And I didn't have time to
I'm pretty
do
good
anything
when
with
I
it.
get home. I'm pretty good about downloading mine, and I put them on an external hard drive,
don't have
and then
one
I
yet.
delete them off.
Yeah.
So I am good about that. I only use 64 gigabyte memory cards. I don't even use 128s.
Yeah.
But that way I can keep them all separate as well. Right. So anyway, well, thank you for sitting down. Thanks for inviting us down, and be watching. We'll have some videos out in the next couple of weeks about this trip, and we'll kind of go from there. Thank you, and we will see you on the next one.